So now we're going to have a ministry update from Sam Waters about the Still Waters Ministry, who we support and is housed here in the church. And I get to see all the great stuff that's going on with Still Waters, not as much as maybe I would have at one point because some of it's remote, but I have the privilege of seeing Sam and the other counselors and the clients come through the office. And so I'm glad that Sam's able to talk to us a little bit today. Come on up, Sam.
Thanks, Pastor Jeremiah. Thank you, congregation, for allowing me a few minutes to give you an update. Seems like it's been a while since I've stood up at the podium and talked to you about Still Waters Ministries, but there has been a lot going on in the last 2 years, despite some of the challenges that the last 2 years have brought to our ministry. I wish Jill could be here with me today. But I do have some updates for you. A lot of people have come to me and asked about Jill. Unfortunately, things have not gone well for Jill the past 2 years. As you know, she's struggled with chronic Lyme disease for about the past 10 years. And she continues to struggle with an autoimmune disease, which makes her quite vulnerable to some of the stuff that's going around right now. So she pretty much stays at home to the extent possible and gets out very little at all. She also struggles with chronic fatigue syndrome and chronic fevers. So keep Jill in your prayers. She still does continue to serve in the ministry. By phone, she talks weekly to about a dozen women who have gone through and struggled with domestic violence. And so that ministry still does continue, but it continues remotely. So keep her in your prayers. For myself, you've probably seen less of me, about 40 pounds less. Yeah, I was up early this morning and got in my 5 miles before I come into church. So I have changed there has been a lifestyle change. I made that change a while ago. Because of some of Jill's physical needs, I felt like I need to start taking care of myself so I can be there to support her in the years to come. So my goal was to drop 70 pounds by the time I'm 70, which is coming up shortly in February. I've hit the 40-pound mark. If I can get the rest of the 30s, I'll be pleased by the time I hit 70. Anyway, that's a little bit about a personal update. The ministry update, God has been wonderful to the ministry in the last couple of years, and I can't begin to tell you how much God has done in our ministry. But I will tell you that the most recent event was the addition of a 4th counselor to that ministry, and that's the addition of Amy Stolzfus. And I think there was probably something posted on the bulletin board a few weeks back about her coming on board. But she really has expanded the kinds of services that this ministry is able to afford to the church and to the community. Her specialization is on eating disorders, working with mothers and women, mothers and children. She does have a counseling ministry with children, and I think she's probably seen about 5 to 6 children. That article that came out about our ministry and adding Amy to that ministry resulted in her filling her calendar fully within 2 weeks. We actually have to have put people on waiting lists, which I hate the thought of having to do that. But with limited resources, there's just only so much that we can do. In addition to Amy, we also have Pam, who is still with us, and she's focused on trauma and does a lot of work with individuals who've gone through trauma. I continue to focus primarily with men, but also with couples dealing with a lot of men struggling with anger issues and addictions, and then with couples, you know, the trouble with couples. Learning how to fight fair and learning ways to improve communication. So it's been I really thought by 70 that I would probably be done with this ministry, but God has made it very clear that he's not. The last 2 years, we haven't been able to do a fundraiser here at the church, which we used to do every spring. We used to do a fall fundraiser, which we haven't done, and that had cut sharply into our finances. Fortunately, we had a company that gave us what was supposed to have been a one-time gift to support our ministry through the last year through the COVID pandemic, and that boosted our finances a lot. And then surprises, in March they doubled that gift to us this year, just for thanking us for the things that we had done for them, for individuals who are struggling with emotional concerns during the COVID pandemic. So we were blessed in that way. People ask, how can they continue to support Still Waters Ministries? I would say first and foremost with your prayers. I love what the church is thinking about doing. Pastor Jeremiah, of having a prayer time during the service. We are providing services 7 days a week now. I come in on Saturdays, and now I'm also doing some Sunday afternoons just to accommodate people's schedules. So every day you can pray for the ministry. There's probably someone counseling every day of the week. So that and encouragement. Ruth, I am so grateful for the postcards that you send to Jill several times a week. That encourages her, and it really lifts her heart when she gets those postcards. So words of encouragement and affirmation really are much appreciated by this ministry. And finally, your financial support. This next year, we will not have some of those funds that were available to us the last 2 years. So individual contributions would be greatly appreciated, and any ideas or suggestions of how we can get some more corporate foundations and funding would be much appreciated as well. Sorry for taking too much time. I'm going to let you go, and the podium is yours.
Thank you, Sam. And I do just want to say again, as a pastor, these kinds of services are really important, and everyone is overbooked right now. So anything we can do to support Still Waters or other ministries like it, it's a very important service. So let's pray.